Okay, today we're going to change out the serpentine belt on this 5.4 liter F150. First thing, disconnect the battery. Working around the belt, it's always safest to do that. And now, you could do it without taking this off, but it's easy enough to take this cowling, or this air intake assembly out of the way. So we're going to do that. Again, this throttle body cover. There's an 8mm here on this side. And over here, a couple of 10s, 10mm. So we'll get those off, the throttle body cover out of the way. Okay, let me lift this cover off. Okay, this again is in the way of getting this cover off, so hose clamp. This is just 8 here, 8mm. Let's get this loosened up some, and then we're going to work it off. What I'm going to try to do is just lay this up over here without having to actually remove it. So the other part that comes apart here is a filter. Okay, so the idea then is just pull this up off the throttle body and just set it down here without disconnecting anything any further. There's vacuum lines, there's sensors in there. What we're going to use to get the serpentine belt out, I've got a big breaker bar. The bigger the better for this thing because there's a lot of tension on it. And also a little tool to jam. You can see it down in here. To jam in this space right here once the tension is off and you've got the breaker bar all the way clockwise, I'm going to stick something in there to hold the tension off in order to make it easier to slip this belt off. What I have is I've made a little fixture here just out of an old piece of angle iron here. I'm going to stick that in there. It's 15mm wide. Otherwise, if you can find a tool that wide, that also will work. Okay, so we have our breaker bar. If you can see this little square cutout, this little square cutout on the tensioner, I'm going to get it in there. Okay, it's in there. Now, clockwise, as I said, you can see the tensioner moving there. Now we're going to, as this moves, I'm going to stick this tool in here. Okay, so now apply tension. Okay, there it's in there. I have it at an angle. Okay, now pull up on the belt, both hands, walk it off. Wait. Okay, we're going to take it off the compressor, the air conditioning compressor first, and then get the entire belt kind of squeezed together here, and then pull up. Okay, now we'll get it off of the Now we have to bring it up around this way, around the top of the water pump, and now it's free, and out it comes. Okay, now we're going to loop it above the water pump and under the alternator. While the other end, kind of loosely down around the power steering pump. Of course, there's a lot of slack in there yet. Okay, now grab a loop, go around that water pump, and bring it down around the crankshaft. Now this part is a little tricky. What you have to do is kind of squeeze it together and feed it down between the tensioner and this idler right here, and down in the area of the air conditioning compressor. feed this, and it's going to jam on something under here probably, but just keep kind of feeding it like this down. When you get enough of a loop down there, you're going to bring the ribbed part, the lower part, down around the compressor there. Okay, so now if you can see that, which I know is rather difficult, it's up over the top of this tensioner. Then from there it goes down around the compressor, it comes back up under this idler, and what's left is to put it up onto the alternator. Okay. We've got it seated around the entire belt path now, with the ribs all lined up on all the ribs. So now we'll just push it back onto the alternator. Check one more time. Everything looks like it's lined up, and then we can put our breaker bar back in. Breaker bar back in, remove our fixture tool, and let the tension come off. Double check it, of course, to make sure it stayed in place. And you're done installing the serpentine belt. Alright, just wrapping a couple things up. Air filter back in place. Put the clamp on there. And that was 8mm for that. Okay, so thanks for watching this serpentine belt removal and install on the 5.4 liter Ford engine. And I hope you got something out of it and helped you out a little bit. If it did, and you'd be able to, I'd appreciate it if you might think of supporting the channel a bit with a contribution. I have a link up in the upper right hand corner. Thanks again for watching.